I think it's safe to say by now that in the end of 2022, everybody that does print on demand or even sell printables or does anything online knows what Canva is. There are countless tutorials on Canva online, including in this channel. But for the past few months, I kind of stopped making Canva tutorials and started making tutorials using a platform, an app called Kittl. And as I was making more and more Kittl tutorials, I started getting the same question over and over again, whether it's on comments or DMs. And that question is, what should I be using? Should I be using Canva? Should I be using Kittl? Should I be paying for Canva Pro? Should I be paying for Kittl Pro? Because not everyone can pay for everything. And this is what this video is all about. It's all about trying to help you find an answer to this question of what should you be paying for, Canva Pro or Kittl Pro? And I hope that you guys will enjoy. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is MeyAroyo and I teach creative people how to sell their art online. And in today's video, I hope to be able to answer a question that you guys been asking, Kittl versus Canva, which one should I be paying for? Just to start it out, I'm using both, but hey, I'm not just doing print on demand, and I feel like that is a very big thing to mention here. So what I plan to do with this video specifically to help you answer this question is, one, what are the commonalities of both platforms? What are the things that you can do with both platforms? Two, I'm going to go over pros of each platform versus the other one. Things that one platform excels better than the other one. And that would take me back to three, which platform deserves your money? Straight up, I'm going to say right now, I'm using both Canva and Kittl. However, I'm not the most perfect example for people who do print on demand because I do so many other things other than print on demand, whether it's this channel, whether it's another channel, whether it's work for clients that I kind of still do till this day. I don't know how I got stuck with, well, I do know how I got stuck with working with clients because I only work with clients that are friends of mine, but for their work, I also need different tools. So I'm not the most perfect, I think, print on demand seller avatar out there. So I really tried to make this as personal as possible while making sure that I go through different points so you guys can answer that question for yourself. So I'm using both. I'm also using Procreate. I'm also using Clip Studio Paint. I also have Placeit app. So I do use more and more tools that are not Canva and Kittl, but this is a discussion that we have today. And I really just want to jump right into it with the commonalities of both platforms. So the very first thing that popped into my head when I was talking about comparing Kittl and Canva for print on demand was the fact that both of them can export a file with a clear background. Like the person who designed this t-shirt that I'm wearing from Redbubble, which is one of you guys, made this entire design and then removed the background so it could be placed on a t-shirt. So it doesn't have this like square background around it. And that's something that we also do with stickers. We also do this for mugs and for a lot of other products. And that is a crucial aspect of print on demand. And this is something that in order to do it on Canva, you're going to need a pro account as well as with Kittl because Kittl's free version is kind of limited in terms of the sizing. Both platforms can provide you with all aspect ratios, which means you can design horizontally, vertically aligned designs, and you can control the size of the design up to a certain point. You can't create 20,000 pixels by 20,000 pixels in 300 DPI. It just doesn't exist in these softwares, but you can create all aspect ratios of any kind of item. So you can design like all cover mugs, you can design wrapping paper, you can design t-shirts and notebooks and so much other cool stuff. The third thing that these platforms have in common is the fact that they both have templates. So these are ready-made templates for you guys to use. Whether you don't know how to get started, you're kind of stuck when it comes to inspiration, and a template can really, jumpstart you with your creative process, or whether you're really new and you don't know how to play around with just a blank canvas. So both of these platforms have templates for you guys to get started, whether it's with social media, designing a logo, or designing a t-shirt. The fourth commonality is that both of these platforms contain an elements library, including things like photographs, fonts, and graphics for you guys to use within your project. Number 5, you can also upload your own elements onto these platforms, your own graphics, whether you made them or purchased them, as well as photography. And number 6 of the commonalities when we're talking about using these platforms for print on demand is that both of these platforms in a way, have an option to layer your design. And I'm saying layer like this because Canva doesn't have the layer option as a clickable layer. Kittl has that. But Canva does have the option to put things on top of each other. So on both of these platforms, you can play around putting graphics over text, text over graphics, and switching between them as you go along and make your design. As I mentioned, both of these platforms has the option to export a PNG file with a transparent background of your design. However, and this is where we're starting the pros of Canva, on Canva, you can actually delete a background from a photo. And this is something that I use so much. Not for print on demand. I actually use it in this channel. Almost every single thumbnail in this channel has a photo of me where I deleted the background and placed myself on it. I can do that with Procreate. I can do that with Clip Studio Paint. You guys can do the same thing with Photoshop, but I choose to use Canva because it's just so easy. I just click on delete background and there you have it. And it's amazing and it's simple and it's fun, but I'm using it for YouTube. I'm also doing this for client work. For example, one of my favorite clients, well, she's my best friend, is starting a new business to sell headbands, which is kind of cool. And she took a beautiful model for a beautiful photo shoot day, and that model had really good photos, but the background was so-so. So I was using Canva to delete the background behind the model and give it a different background. But again, these two examples of how I use this feature of Canva that is only available on Canva have nothing to do with print on demand or me selling on any platform. When it comes to templates, which is something that both of these platforms have, Canva has a lot more templates. I mean, it's not even something that you can compare. Canva just has an insane amount of templates for pretty much anything, whether it's a weekly planner or a presentation template. They have so many things, so many different templates for logos, for banners, for so many things that it's absolutely ridiculously easy to get started with pretty much anything. While we mentioned this whole elements library, Canva has two things in its element library that don't exist on Kittl, which is the videos and the sound. So that's kind of a unique quality for Canva, and it can be used for social media marketing. However, I don't really see the relevance of it for creating a print-on-demand item, because if I took a video and put it on a t-shirt, that would not be printed well at all. Now, Canva has an amazing editing tool, even for videos. And I don't know if you guys seen the video that I did yesterday. I did this YouTube short on how to delete background using just a Mac, using the defaults of a Mac computer. And I was editing that video using Canva. I also use Canva to edit the Instagram reel and YouTube short of Misha and me modeling the Awkward Styles pajama set. So that was kind of fun. However, I could have also just did these small segments of our video and created the reels and the YouTube short directly on the YouTube or Instagram platforms. I didn't have to use Canva for it, but it was kind of easy. And yes, it's really easy to make amazing videos and edit videos using Canva. It's super easy. It's easier even for me when I'm a video editor because my software doesn't have these ratios. I can't make a video in my software, which is iMovie, that is fitting for Instagram Reels or even a 1:1 aspect ratio, because what I'm doing with my editing software is only like YouTube alignment. Canva has a lot of really cool text effects, including different types of shadow, glow, the glitch effect, as well as curving text. And that's pretty cool. They also have a lot of image effects to give images shadows. And this is something that I really play around with more, again, for, you know, other stuff, for social media marketing or for this channel. Not directly for print on demand, but the text effects are amazing for print on demand. And there has been several tutorials where I showed how you can use the curve effect to create really awesome stickers. And it is a pretty useful tool. Canva also has built-in mockups. I mean, come on, you can upload a design or a photo effect this with a mockup, placing it as a wall art photo, placing it on a t-shirt. However, those mockups are quite limited. They don't really renew them as much, and they might not fit people who are doing something else. For example, if I'm selling jigsaw puzzles or wrapping paper. They're also not as extensive as the mockups you will find on Placeit, for example, which is what I'm using, but hey, they're there, so they're mentioned in this video. Canva has mockups. Canva's designer is actually allowing you to create multiple pages in the same design. So you can download a PDF that includes multiple designs. For example, if you want to make a book for KDP, or if you want to sell a printable coloring book on Etsy and don't want to have, just single PDFs. However, this feature is not really needed for print on demand, and also you can stag these things on other softwares and do them with Canva free. Canva has so many apps and so many collaborations just popping up all the time, whether it's different filters or even their latest and greatest AI art generator. I spoke a lot about the Canva AI art generator when I did the AI art generator video where I compared 4 AI art generators, and I've said that phrase so many times now. Give me a second. In order to try to find the best one out of all 4. So I was talking extensively about that, but hey, again, as you guys let me know, because I'm a Canva Pro user, this is also available for the Canva free membership. So that is another cool feature that Canva has and Kittl doesn't have. Whether or not you can use it for print on demand is kind of a no, since the file size is very, very small, and I'm going to stop yapping about that. Again, there was a full video about that, and I will leave a link to that video down below if you're interested in AI art generators. And that's the last time I said that phrase, I promise. You can easily create brand kits on Canva, which is something that I'm using, whether it's for the brand of this YouTube channel or for the brand of one of the clients that I'm working for. I think it's an amazing feature if what you're doing is a bit of a higher scale and you don't just have your brand that you're working on. One of my favorite things about Canva is that I can share a file with people. So I think it was a year ago that I created a file on Canva with 10 different t-shirt designs, and I shared it with you guys. I just basically gave out a link that is a share link, and once you use it, you can open it on Canva yourself and edit it so every person can edit it by themselves. It's a really cool way to work along with someone else if they're not on your existing team or you work with them all the time, which is kind of a cool thing to do. I also share it with some friends whenever I want to send them something. It's kind of easier than just uploading it to the drive, and they can edit it on the spot. People also sell Canva templates for this very same reason and with this very same practice. But all of these pros are not even coming close to Canva's biggest pro, which is kind of their biggest con in this video, is that their free version is so extensive that I know people who have been doing print on demand or any type of client work online for years and have never needed to use Canva Pro because the free version of Canva was just good enough for them. They never needed to add that extra money to get these extra features because maybe they had a different software to do this, or maybe they just didn't need the features that come in with Canva Pro. Now, we've covered all of these amazing features of Canva, and I want to move on to the amazing features of Kittl. But before I do that, I would like to kindly ask you that if you like this video and so far found this content useful, please hit the like button down below. It really does help my channel every time you do that with the YouTube algorithm and stuff. And thank you for taking the time to do that. And I'll stop yapping and move on to the first pro of using Kittl, which is the fact that Kittl is actually curated for print on demand. And I feel like it's a pro and a con in a sense because, Canva has all of these abilities, but Kittl just do print on demand. You can do logos, you can do stickers, you can do t-shirts, and you're sort of inside this community of so many people who do print on demand. This is curated, and I really don't know what's with me with that word today. I love that word, curated. It's really curated for people who do print on demand, and it's kind of what I like about that platform. It's kind of like, this is what I'm doing now. I'm not going to be distracted by anything else. This is what I'm doing now, and everything is specifically made for me to create print on demand items. Now, while the elements library of Kittl does not include things like music or videos, they do have insane fonts that are super unique to their platform because Kittl is the child of Heritage Type Co., which is a font company. And yes, you can buy Heritage Type Co. font bundles by yourself and use them on Canva, but they're so much easier when they're just on Kittl. And I feel like this is sort of the vibe of Kittl, having these unique fonts in the platform. It's just that one thing extra that none of the other platforms have. And if you guys don't know the value of a really unique font, I think you have not been doing print on demand for very long. It's why we as product creators or content creators really need to keep reinventing ourselves all the time because people are tired of looking at the same thing over and over again, and fonts is a great example for that. So Kittl having these unique fonts on the platform for print-on-demand usage is kind of a really big pro. And yes, Kittl has far less graphic elements than Canva, but is that really such a bad thing? For example, imagine yourself trying to fix dinner and you have every single item in your house. What are you going to make for dinner? Or if you're trying to make dinner and you have several vegetables, several meats, or a more limited amount of produce, it will be easier for you to decide what to make for dinner. And in that sense, sometimes less is actually more, because I remember from when I was doing Creative Fabrica videos, people kept on telling me they went into Creative Fabrica and checked out the selections of fonts and graphics, and they were like, oh my God, I just spent 2 hours of my life looking at the selection. And this is something that I know happens to a lot of people and to myself with Canva as well, because there are just so many options out there that you kind of forget what you wanted to design to begin with. And it has all of these options. It's insane. It's also about your personal style. You can also outsource certain graphics or create them yourself using Procreate or Clip Studio Paint or Photoshop, if that's what you like to do. So Kittl has far less graphics than Canva, but I feel like they're also in sort of this unique vibe or setting to them that really hits that vintage or grungy look, a little bit steampunk. And I kind of like that they have less options. It makes making a tutorial about them far easier at times. It's just, this is the option, this is what I'm going to use, and I'm going to make it work for me because they have so many other features that make these simple elements just look amazing. When it comes to what you can actually do with text, there is no comparing between Canva and Kittl. Yes, it's very nice that you can curve text with Canva and have all these kind of cool effects, but Kittl's effects for text, whether it's the effects of how the text looks like or where the text is going, these effects are absolutely amazing. So when it comes to how the text looks like, so we're talking about effects that are on top of the font. I keep feeling like I'm back in high school when I'm doodling in my journal and I'm like creating this headline. So I was interrupted by a messenger from eMug, which is a website we're using, and I got my camera. I ordered a new Sony camera. I'm sorry it has nothing to do with this video. I'm just so excited. And this camera is going to help me make better videos, and not just better with quality, but better in content, since I'm using my phone to do all my videos, and it's kind of hard to use your phone to make a video while also showing something with your phone, like how to upload things to Instagram or how to even take really good product photos for your print on demand. So I'm super excited for this. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it here and get back to talking. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And get back to talking more about Kittl text effects, because one of the things that I really liked about their text effects, and I'm talking about the effect that is done on the text, not the motion of the text, is that it kind of reminds me when I was in high school and I was doing this like heading in my journal that is kind of like outlined letters, and I color them on the inside and I put a shadow behind them. It really threw me back to that, and the fact that I can do that online so easy is just insane, with offset, with blurs, with borders, with so many cool stuff. There are just so many options. And I really remember looking at the option to create like stripes on the actual text. I'm like, I used to do it in my journal. This is just so cool. To me, it feels like someone took the 90s and the early 2000s and made text effects like that. So that was a super cool option. But again, the things that you can do on top of the text or on the text or with the text's appearance is not all that you can do with Kittl, because you can also move the text in so many unpredictable ways, whether it's creating wave, whether it's putting it in a certain angle, or my favorite feature, which is the distort option, that you can play around with the text inside a certain surface or make sure that it fits a certain surface or even a different word in that text. This is something that I was actually doing before I had Kittl, and I was doing it with Canva and Procreate. So I would go to Canva, I would write a word, and then I would download it with transparent background, and then I would put it on Procreate, and then I would manually distort it myself. The thing is that if I wanted another word or to change that word as I go along, I had to go back to Canva and do that. I can also do the whole thing on Procreate or on Clip Studio Paint by having a text layer and then rasterizing it and then moving it. But the font selection was just not there. And I feel like this whole distort option or the wave options is kind of like, oh, this is a process I used to do with 2 other softwares that took me a huge amount of time, and now I can just do it in like a few seconds. It's pretty cool. Another great feature when it comes to Kittl is the fact that you have DPI Control, and you can download things knowing their DPI quality. The thing is that a lot of people really don't get the point that Canva was not made for anything to be printed. The whole point of Canva when they started is for web design, like for things to be online as a logo online, or banners for a website, or creating presentations. And yes, they do have printing options and you can use them for print, but your control over the actual DPI is almost non-existent. And yes, I can take a design and make sure that it's the highest quality, but what is the size of the element? Because the elements on Canva are not endless. You can end up taking an element, downloading a really large design, using that element in a very high quality, but that element is still not going to look good because the original file was not SVG based, and there is a whole thing around that. So Canva was not actually meant for being printed, especially not for print on demand, and Kittl was. And that DPI control, that one thing, I remember my first conversation with Bojana from Kittl, where I was looking at their platform. This is actually what was going on in my head. It was, why would I make a video? And this was months ago. I was like, you're nice. You're a nice person, but why would I make a video about your platform when I have Canva? And I was looking for these points of why would I even make a video about it? I'm very busy. I have a lot of things I want to do. Why would I start onboarding a new platform? Why? And then I was like, oh, wow, you have DPI control. And it was the DPI control, the unique fonts and the distortion that made me say, well, Kittl deserves a chance. So these three things were my reason for trying to play around with Kittl and start playing around with Kittl. And while I was making tutorials about them, I think that there is something that kind of hit me. I think it was a few weeks ago when I was thinking about doing a design tutorial using Canva. And then it hit me for the first time. When was the last time I read their licensing? Because their licensing changed and so many of their elements have a different license and you're not really sure what the license is because the license is under the general license and it changes all the time. And when I was about to make that video, I realized that when I'm using Kittl, that question is just not coming up. What do you mean if I can use it or not? This is a platform for print on demand. Of course I can use this element for print on demand. I don't even have to ask anyone. And if I wanted to ask anyone, it's actually pretty easy because a lot of the big advantage of having a platform like Kittl, which is smaller, is the fact that they're so accessible to ordinary people. Whether it's talking to Drew on their YouTube channel or texting them on pretty much every social app available or emailing them, Kittl seems to kind of be there for us, whether it's to answer questions or even be very open-minded for improvements. And they have been updating so many features to their platform that it's insane. The work that they're doing is kind of amazing. And I feel like when it comes to the social aspect where people share the templates, all the templates that you see are made by people who chose to share their templates and might also be getting some money for it. I still upload all my templates to Kittl to this day without having the aspect of money paid, just because, I want to support them and I don't feel like I need a little extra money. And you can access all my templates and work on them and redesign them, which is something so cool that I can just, hey, this is a design I made, everyone can use it. And I don't have to give you a different link for every separate video because I can just share and publish everything that I do to the community for them to do it as well. And it's something amazing to me, as well as the fact that, when I'm talking about the community, I'm also talking about their challenges. And the challenge we did with Kittl was super awesome to me. I mean, looking at 119 different notebook designs that came from you guys was like amazing. And I feel like Kittl is so open to just making design fun. Again, I feel like I'm Donald Trump when I say that. Make print-on-demand design great again. Coming up to one of the biggest pros as well when it comes to using Kittl is also the layers. And yes, we talk about the fact that even with Canva, you can take one element and put it on top of the other or put it behind it. But Kittl has a clear layer view. I mean, it's just there. It's called layers and you can play around with it and not just play around with it. You can also hide a layer, which is kind of cool because you can hide an element and it doesn't go away, but it's not on the current design. And this is something that I actually use almost automatically when I'm designing notebooks. For example, I did my stationery corner. I have like so many notebooks here. Let me just try to find one. Okay, for example, my gratitude journal from Zazzle. So I have the background and the texture. I have this amazing text, this amazing font from Kittl, and the amazing text effect with the colors and a few of their elements. And this was a text from Zazzle because it's personalized. And while I was making this design, after I finished making it, I actually hid these elements and put a different text element in the center. So whenever I access that specific design, I know that I have this element here and this element here. And what I can do with that is not just with the layers popping in and out and visible or not visible, but I can also literally change the entire color palette to create a totally different notebook using the same basic design, but on a different color palette. And this is something that has just been made so much easier with Kittl. Just because I can't put more and more designs like on Canva. In Canva, like you stack a design. I can go in and I can make like, 20 t-shirts, 30 t-shirts on the same design file. But I feel like there is something about the fact that every file, every space that I do on Kittl is like a specific design. I feel like that focuses me more on making variations on a design rather than just, spitting out a bunch of random designs. It really helps me create a collection of some sort, and it gets me to actually do more with less because I can have this gratitude journal and I can have it in every color in the universe with different textures, and it's amazing. And while I find this amazing that they have layers, what I find even more amazing is the fact that they're working with clipping masks and alpha masks, which is kind of cool working on masks because this is how I actually created a part of yesterday's short, which is that bear that I created because it was literally a silhouette from Kittl, and then I put a photo on top of that silhouette and then I masked it down, which was insane, using actually blending tools for photos. It's kind of like, Photoshop and Procreate stuff. So that is a huge advantage that Canva is yet to show us, maybe in the future, but I do feel like this put Kittl like a little bit up there. Along with the fact that I feel that Kittl has a vibe. If you're going more for the kawaii style of things, maybe Kittl is not for you. But if you are into that grunge and vintage kind of designs, which are super trendy right now, Kittl is actually curated for that purpose. And if I have to look at their template library, yes, Canva has more templates. Yes, Canva has more logo templates, but can you really compare logo templates from Canva to Kittl? I mean, come on, can you even? I feel like I do have to say one thing that is, I think will be universal, and I think that no one can tell me it's not true. Canva has more. Canva has more. At the end of the day, if I'm not looking into specifics of each and every option, Canva just has more tools. They have more feature. There is no one that can dispute that. However, as I said, more doesn't mean that it's always better. And I feel like this is where we need to enter pricing into the point, because at the end of the day, the name of this video is not Kittl versus Canva. It's what should you be paying for? So let's bring in the money aspect with Canva and Kittl both having a free option, which is super limited with Kittl and kind of extensive with Canva. But if you want to get Canva Pro, you can do that for $12.99 a month or Kittl Pro for $15 a month. If you're taking a yearly membership, it's pretty much the same, with Canva being $119.99 a month and Kittl being $120. So it's 1 cent more for Kittl. You do have Canva Teams, which is kind of cool, which is $15 a month, $14.99 and $149.99 per year. And you can have up to 5 people on your team working on the same exact projects and seeing the same exact thing. And with Kittl, you also have Kittl Expert, which costs $30 per month or $288 per year. You also have their business option, which is $99 a month, up to 5 people, same as Canva Teams, with $948 if you take a yearly membership. By the way, I have Kittl Expert. For those of you who wanted to know, I have Canva Pro and Kittl Expert. And again, as I said, both of these platforms have a free version, but there is no comparing between Canva free to Kittl free, because so many of the things that I just mentioned can be done on Canva for free, but with Kittl free, you get a very limited amount of designs that you can actually design. I think you have like 10 slots for designs, as well as the actual download size of the file is so small. And I feel like we're talking about the fact that Canva gives you more and their free version gives you more. But at the end of the day, if Canva is giving us all these stuff for free, maybe my money is better spent on Kittl, because I can use all of these free things from Canva while I'm designing using Kittl. I can make beautiful print-on-demand designs on Kittl, and then when I upload them to a print-on-demand supplier because I want to sell them on Etsy, I can make the design of the photos for Etsy using Canva if I want to. And that would be something that I can do for free. If I'm designing coloring pages using Kittl, I can download them, upload them to Canva to bind them for KDP. I don't need to pay Canva any money to be using these options. And I don't even need to pay Canva for the option to take photos and turn them into slideshow videos for Instagram. Even though, again, I don't really need to do this on Canva because I can do it directly on Instagram. But there are so many things that I'm getting here. And if I look at some of the most initial factors of comparison, like for example, the option to download things with a transparent background, I will need Pro for each one of these to have a design for a t-shirt. But if I already have that on Kittl and I can export that, I don't need to have that on Canva. At the end of the day, I'm not giving up my Canva Pro membership anytime soon. I'm using it for so many things that don't relate to print on demand. And I'm lazy to remove the background from my own photos for thumbnails here or when I work for clients. I mean, I had to remove background for like 100 and something photos for my best friend's new headband project. And I wouldn't have done it myself. I would have used Canva. It's just so much better. But when it comes to print on demand, I actually stopped using Canva for my print on demand completely. And the reasons for that is, well, the licensing changes all the time. I'm thinking about going back to all of my old videos and putting disclaimers that, you know, while this was true while I was making this video, these things might not be true now. And yes, I'll probably take a week out of my life in December just to figure out their licensing now and what you can or cannot do. And that's so annoying because on the surface, everything looks really, really nice with the fact that, oh, I have a Pro membership, so I can use everything. And I can tell you that one of the things that made me feel so much stress when I started this channel is that I edited a certain segment, like an intro using Canva, and they have music. And I'm a Canva Pro user, and the music is there. So I put the music on it, and that was music that was actually with the template of that video intro. And I uploaded it onto YouTube, and I got a strike for copyrights because that piece of music is epidemic music, epidemic sound, or whatever they're called. And I don't have a membership to them, but that was on a Canva template for YouTube intros. Why was it there if I'm legally not allowed to use it for that purpose? And I remember I got so mad. This section was removed. I talked to Epidemic Sound, or I keep forgetting if it's Epidemic Sound or Epidemic Music, but I talked to them. I apologized. I explained to them that I found like this was on Canva and I'm paying for Canva Pro. And they're like, the fact that you're paying for Canva Pro doesn't mean that you don't have to pay us. And that's when I realized that almost every single item on Canva can have a different licensing. And that's just, not something I want to risk, not something I want to play around with, not something I take lightly, definitely not when I'm designing to you guys. So I kind of stopped making tutorials with Canva, and I kind of stopped using Canva just because of that, because, well, having these endless elements is very nice, but can I actually use them? Are they legal for my purpose? And Canva has multiple purposes because there are things for social media, there are things for presentations at work. There are so many different features for Canva that you can't really be sure that this specific element will go with your specific need or whatever you want to do with the product. But with Kittl, this is a platform for you to create print-on-demand products. You can use this for print-on-demand. It's kind of out there. Canva has built-in mockups. That's amazing. Do they have mockups for puzzles? Do they have mockups for wrapping paper? No. And these are the mockups that I need. So when you look at the fact that Canva has mockups, do you have a Placeit membership? Do you really need those mockups? Do these mockups fit whatever you want to sell? And again, these mockups are kind of repetitive. They're the same mockups. And with the wall art mockups, I can literally go to Pixabay, have a free photo, put it on Canva or in Kittl, then put the design on it, and I have a mockup, which is completely legal to use because I'm not selling the photo from Pixabay. I'm using it as a mockup to display my art. So in a lot of cases, I don't really need the mockups that come with Canva. At the end of the day, it just came down to the features that I'm using. And what I found is the majority of the features that I need for print on demand are on Kittl, if I pay Kittl. And some of the features that I still need from Canva for print on demand, I can get with Canva free. And I feel like that's sort of been the thing and the theme for me for trying to make this video for you guys. Because again, this is talking about me. Maybe you guys have a totally different style. Maybe you can't find your elements on Kittl. So I feel like we're nearing the end of this video and the conclusion. And to summarize this with a hypothetical, if I was May, but if May was only doing print on demand, nothing else, and I had to choose between paying Canva Pro or Kittl Pro, because based on a yearly price, they're both the same, and this is all I can afford. If I had to choose, I would probably get Kittl. I would make amazing designs with clear backgrounds. I would create all of my notebooks. I'd have so much fun designing for TeePublic. It's insane. I can even create all my social media banners using Kittl, using their really unique fonts, using their texture base, and creating really cute quotes for social media posts, which is something that I plan on doing using Kittl for my new self-love journaling project. I already started with that self-love journaling on Instagram, and I created these really cool stories that are in story highlights. I was doing like journaling prompts highlights, and I was using backgrounds from Kittl plus the text that comes with Instagram story. And yes, I also have a story highlight where I feature some of my best notebooks, and I created those designs using Canva, but I didn't need a Canva Pro membership to do it. I could have done it even if I had a free account. And also, one thing that a lot of people don't really know, and it kind of popped up when we did the last video with me being on the Kittl channel, is the fact that you can use Kittl to create printables. And while you cannot create printables using their templates for print on demand, you can do that from scratch. And that is the topic of the next video. And I do have to say, to be honest, I don't need any of these platforms. I have very professional softwares. I can do all my art. I mean, this is done using Procreate. The sheet that you're looking on is done using Procreate, and I don't have to sell t-shirts if I don't want to. I can just sell my art. I can also create all the banners for this channel on Clip Studio Paint and use so many other softwares. And I feel like when we're talking about managing a business or starting a business, it's not about downsizing my expenses. I mean, I paid for Procreate one time, and I paid for, Clip Studio Paint. Well, I got it for free when I got a Wacom tablet. So why do I even need to pay anything else? And the reason for that is because I want to save myself time. So what I want you to keep in mind when you're comparing two different platforms that basically cost the same per year and seeing which one of them should you be choosing is not just the features, but the concept of time. In which platform can you get the better design faster to save your precious time? Because I'm guessing not a lot of you who are watching this video have 15 hours a day just to work on their print on demand, and saving time is important. Because when I was talking about these kind of text effects with a distort option that I can do myself with Procreate, I would have done 2 or 3 designs on Procreate in the same time that I do 20 or 25 on Kittl. And that is definitely worth, to me, $10 a month. Now, I don't know what you're feeling about this little comparison video, and I would kind of really like to know what you're feeling about this. So please feel free to comment down below your thoughts or your theories or what you want to do with it. And you can also find down below a link to all of my Kittl templates. Now, the link to Kittl as well as the link to Canva are both affiliate links, which means that if you sign up to one of these platforms using my link, I'm going to get a little bit of commission. But if you think that that would change my mind, which platform to choose, you should know I'm an affiliate of both. And to be honest, I feel like I've been just using Kittl a lot more lately, and I felt like I really want to be more transparent about the whole thing. If you're not a member of one of these and you want to join them after watching this video and you do this from one of my links, it's a great way to support the channel and what I'm doing. That's how you get money for making free content. While there is a lot more to say about Kittl versus Canva and which one should you be using, I feel like this video needs to come to an end because one, at the end of the day, it's about you guys exploring both platforms and seeing which one of them fits you more. And two, I really want to go ahead and play around with my new camera. So yeah, there is that. I really enjoyed making this video. Thank you guys for asking me this repetitive question, but there have been so many other questions that you guys have been asking me about print on demand when it comes to taxes of print on demand, which platforms I like better for what, and a bunch of other questions that you guys asked me. And I actually made a video answering your print on demand questions. And whether you asked a question to that video or not, you might find answers to questions you didn't even know you have. And I recommend you watch that video next. But with that being said, that was it for me for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as usual, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!